and welcome to News Around Africa here on Star TV Channel 21 with me, Eric Silas Kawa. First off, let's have the currency update.
Morning at one of the largest markets in Abuja, and traders prepare to sell their fresh produce. Many buyers here say they've seen a shift in food prices in recent weeks.
The prices of things have gone down. Compared now, the prices of things as of today have gone down compared to what they were in the last 3 months.
Nigeria's National Bureau of Statistics reports annual inflation figures have gradually reduced from 18% in January to 5.9% in November, with basic food prices recording a near 4-month low. The statistics body attributes the drop in inflation to stable fuel prices and lower power costs. Changes in weather patterns have also helped to increase food supplies.
Farmers, this is a harvest season. They are harvesting their products and things have come down.
Earlier this year, Nigeria's economy experienced 2 consecutive quarters of declining growth, the usual definition of a recession. Now, the government, however, has found some positive news in the latest inflation figures, which analysts say may ease pressure on the price of consumer goods at the open market. The government has recently launched a recovery plan aimed at getting the country back on the path to steady economic growth while pushing for a more diversified economy. However, many suppliers say that even with inflation easing, people are still struggling.
Sometimes, even if they can afford, what they can use, what if they are like, now they want to buy beans, like 2 models, they say, let me just manage 1 model. If they're to buy Gary 3 models, they say, let me marry it with 2 models, so that they go and manage it because of the money at hand.
However, Nigeria's central bank is confident the situation will improve, and it's projected single-digit inflation by the end of next year.
Let's start off in Nigeria. Activists have gathered outside the Libyan embassy in Abuja to protest against reports of slave trade in Libya. Here's the report.
It's a very big shame. A very big shame.
Outrage as members of a coalition of civil society groups hold signs in protest over the alleged torture and killing of several Nigerian migrants in Libya. The groups say they've come to seek a public response from authorities here at the Libyan embassy.
From reports, these acts are not just happening on small scale, they're happening on large scale. And it's a massive cartel. The Libyan people, this is one of the reasons why we are the embassy to say that the Libyan people must show leadership. They must show the will, to crack down on this cartel.
In its latest findings, the International Organization for Migration, IOM, estimates there are over 100,000 Nigerian migrants living in transit nations like Libya, in the hope they can cross the Mediterranean Sea into Europe. And despite the Nigerian government embarking on mass campaigns warning its citizens of the dangers of illegal migration, many still risk the journey. The Nigerian government has begun bringing stranded citizens home from Libya after a global outcry over reports that migrants there were being held against their will and tortured. Now, Libya's government said it would investigate these reports of migrants being sold as slaves and promises to provide justice. Although Libyan officials here in Abuja have taken temporary leave of absence, activists here vow to continue protests until all Nigerian migrants are brought home. Many of the protesters here say first-hand accounts of men and women confined in warehouses, prisons and courtyards as forced labor gave reason to protest.
Nobody ever thought after many centuries slavery were ever going to resurface. The main purpose why we had to come in group is to register our displeasure and our vacuity that what is taking place in Libya is totally unacceptable.
This is the time for us to condemn every act of barbarism just as this, because we cannot allow people to continue to dehumanize fellow human beings. We cannot allow Africans to dehumanize fellow Africans. This is the time for us, to all come out and speak as one voice and let love reign over hate.
I will task my government to do the right thing, and I will also advise my fellow female, my brothers, to stay back home.
Voluntary humanitarian return assistance and reintegration programs are now working closely with the Nigerian government in host communities and inside detention centers in Libya, with a hope to end heightened reports of migrant abuses for several people, many who are fleeing economic hardships and conflict.
Over now to Kenya. The government is also on a drive to reduce the number of HIV infections. 80% of cases are known to be among adults. But there's a new treatment in town that could be the game changer. Let's have this report.
Kenya's government wants to reduce the HIV infection rate by 75% among the adults. It has set an ambitious target for that, the year 2019. Over 80% of new infections occur in adults.
Kenya is the country with one of the highest number of new infections across the world. We are currently the 4th largest epidemic in the world. And with that with 100,000 new infections, close to 100,000, they have significantly come down to about 60,000 happening every year. We are still concerned by those number of new infections.
Many of the new infections are in women, but there is a reason for that. Pregnant women undergo neonatal exams, so doctors are able to detect the virus during that stage. It is believed, however, the infection rate may be higher among men, but there is still a taboo in a culture of silence when it comes to declaring one's status.
We need to go beyond the traditional ABCs in terms of addressing HIV. This is because we've been able to realize that despite that you have provided other mechanisms in terms of prevention of HIV, more infections are happening in this nation.
That's where pre-exposure prophylaxis comes in. Known as PrEP, it's a drug that significantly reduces the risk of contracting HIV. And Kenyan authorities hope it may be a game changer when it comes to reducing the rate of infection.
We need to create more options because one tool will work for one person, it will not work for another. So we need to keep looking for and investing in more options.
Within the Kenyan context, we realize that PrEP can be used in combination to try and bring the new infections down in this country.
PrEP was introduced in Kenya back in May, but since then, it has not been as popular as initially hoped. There are other challenges too.
Some of the challenges we're having with PrEP is that, number one, it is not accessible to everyone. The main focus currently is more on high-risk population, or what we call the key populations in this country. The other question that are being asked policy-wise is the affordability of the sale.
In terms of getting people to know the right information, that's where I think the most investment should happen.
But for those who are taking it in combination with ARVs and other treatments, it has been a game changer, especially for our discordant couple who wish to have their identity concealed.
They counseled us well and I was confident. My partner was supportive and we decided not to disclose our status to anyone, including our children. We were excited about the option of PrEP because we were hoping to try for another child. We were encouraged.
In the beginning, I was afraid because I heard if you contracted HIV, your quality of life will be very bad. But after the advice I received here on PrEP, I know I can go on with my life.
PrEP has the potential of drastically reducing the rate of infection in Kenya, which is a priority for health authorities. And in combination with various other treatments in the prevention package, it can help bring Kenya closer to the ultimate goal of zero HIV infections by the year 2030.
Let's go for a short commercial and we'll be right back.
The best investment in a child's life is education, as it educates and prepares the child for the future. But having that in a very conducive atmosphere is one thing that every child yearns for. At Nyakom Nursery Preparatory and High School, situated at number 5 Bauma of Femitono Drive, Godrich, your child's future is guaranteed. At Nyakom, we admit pupils from nursery to SSS4. Striving for excellence is one of Nyakom's mission, and that is accomplished through our conducive learning environment that comes in a fenced compound, a one-to-one seating accommodation, trained and qualified teachers, guidance and counseling units, plus a spacious playing ground which affirms the saying, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. At NACOM, recreational facilities are available for your child's relaxation and learning, like baskets and volleyball courts, DSTV facility, fully equipped computer and science labs with bus services ensuring their pupils are picked up and dropped to and from school, thus guaranteeing their safety. Make haste and have your child or ward admitted into NACOM Nursery Preparatory and High School, which is situated at number 5 Balma of Femitono Drive, Godrich, as admission for the academic year 2017 and 2018 has commenced. Education is the key, remember.
Welcome back. You see watching news around Africa here on Star TV, channel 21. Let's go now to South Africa. South Africa has 3 months to get its house in order or face another downgrade. Global ratings agency S&P has cut the country's credit rating for the 2nd time in 7 months. Fitch has the country's rating for the 7th time and reaffirmed its rating, which is already sub-investment. Moody's has put South Africa on review to be downgraded. But the agency will be monitoring the outcome of the ANC's elective conference next month and the 2018 budget, due to the end of February this year.
His decision was no surprise. The South African economy is struggling to produce growth. Unemployment, poverty and debt is on the rise. These issues are being compounded by deteriorating public finances and poor management of state-owned enterprises.
The message is introduce reform. Stop bailing out state-owned enterprises. Make sure that growth arrives. The 0.6% GDP growth expected is not sufficient to deal with your debt load.
The warnings are not new, yet there's been little improvement. Moody's agreed to wait another 90 days in light of developments that could change the course of the economy.
If Moody's also joins in the downgrade, then it's very likely that the currency would weaken substantially. By that we mean a depreciation of 5% or more. What that would tend to do is therefore drive up imported prices, drive up inflation, and ultimately force the Reserve Bank to start to hike interest rates.
The latest downgrade means South Africa's debt has now become more expensive and will constrain government further.
The interest cost in our government budget is the fastest rising element of the budget. And it's pretty much moving above 10% of total government spending, and it will quickly go closer to 15% given the recent increases in bond yields, which means that government has to spend more on interest and take away money from other government services.
After the last set of downgrades in April, South African bonds were removed from the JP Morgan Bond Index.
We got excluded the minute Fitch downgraded SA because there you needed to have all investment grade from all 3. There's the Barclays Aggregate Bond Index. And in there, it requires the average rating of the 3 to be investment grade. Now we are non-investment grade, we're going to get excluded out of that. There could be outflow of about $5 billion. The City Wigby requires Moody's and Standard & Poor's, both of them, right, to be non-investment grade. So we're still in the City Wigby, but we're very imminently about to be booted out.
All hopes are now riding on new leadership in the ANC. But some economists have warned against this, as the race is not clear-cut. There are currently 7 candidates in the running, most of whom are unlikely to make the changes this economy desperately needs.
Over to Nigeria. Nigeria's Bureau of Forecasting of Statistics is forecasting a faster economic growth in next year, months after the country emerged from the recession. Latest statistics show the country's GDP growth doubled compared to the 2nd quarter.
Nigeria's GDP growth now stands at 1.4% after recording a 1.6% contraction compared to 2016. The economy has recorded a consistent growth pattern after exiting its worst recession in 25 years. The oil-dependent economy has already outstripped an earlier 0.8% growth the IMF had predicted for this year and may surpass the 1.9% projection for next year, thanks to improving oil prices at the global market and an increased crude output, which now stands at 2.3 million barrels per day. The state-owned petroleum company has said oil revenue has also surpassed the 2017 budget projection by 16%.
GDP is improving, yes. The inflation rate is going down, although we would have liked it to go down faster, but it's going down nevertheless. Other indicators that show recovery, like the reserves, are close to 40 billion from as low as 23 billion. Balance of payments that has been negative for almost 2 years now, become positive for 2 quarters. So the lot of indicators that are suggesting that we are not there yet, but it's a clear sign that things are picking up.
Nigeria is seeking to diversify its economy. The government aims at reviving previously neglected sectors like agriculture and industry. Although the government depends heavily on oil for its revenue, agriculture, which employs 70% of its population, expanded by only 3.1%. But a 2.9% contraction in manufacturing is raising concerns.
From our numbers, indirectly about 54% of the non-oil sector is indirectly dependent on what happens to oil. So when you have that kind of economy, you are still heavily dependent on oil. We cannot do without oil currently, but like I said, the plan is to use oil to get ourselves away from dependence on that same oil.
The latest statistics are a big relief for President Buhari's government, having concentrated on lifting the economy from recession. The real challenge now is sustaining the growth pattern, attracting investors, and moving his economic diversification agenda forward.
You're still watching News Around Africa here on Star TV, Channel 21, and now we go for a short commercial. We'll be right back.
Always wanted to get some good IT training, but often wondered where, when, and why. Allow me to share my pleasant discovery. Situated on the outskirts of Freetown on Mile 91 Freetown Highway, Silicon Hills, just opposite the former Camp Charlie, is the Canadian College of Modern Technology. And apart from its serene environment, which makes it most suitable for learning, this certified and accredited Canadian College of Modern Technology, with its well-experienced international and local teaching staff.
We offer courses in computer science, business administration, human resource management, development studies, and mass communication.
They will help you develop and demonstrate effective problem-solving skills to be successful IT professionals. You may also like to know that this fully equipped institution is not only special for its wireless connectivity and its unique waste management policy, which seeks to help reduce their carbon footprint, but also has a 24-hour solar electricity power supply and a backup generator. This highly secured campus also has a clinic, student hostels with clean running pipe-borne water, a canteen, and state-of-the-art learning facilities to make learning a good experience. Enrollment for 2016 starts right away. And here's a little secret. For the year 2016 and 2017, all registered students who meet all financial obligations will be provided with personal laptops to help them with their studies. So hurry now and get your application forms or contact them on these numbers: 079 630 407 or 099 140 208 or 025 343 175. The Canadian College of Modern Technology, where knowledge and hard work are the ultimate.
Canadian College of Modern Technology is the best keep it high.
From the commercial break, let's move over now to Mozambique. Mozambique is among the countries that is highly affected by the AIDS epidemic. There are more than 1 million people living with HIV in the country. It also has one of the largest antiretroviral programs in the world, with 800,000 people receiving treatment.
Few people would want Goretti Talia's job. As the only doctor at the center, she sees more than 5,000 patients a month. And when a patient is confirmed HIV positive, it's often Italia's responsibility to break the news.
The first thing I do is to talk to the patient and to say that it's not his fault and he has to do with this, but we are here to help him. We are here for him, for what he needs. And the first consultation to this patient, we try to understand what kind of person we are leading to, okay? It's an emotive person that has social problems, or it's a person that has a homosexual patient, or a sex worker patient, or a woman that is married and has problems in the marriage, and things like that. We're trying to understand the patient and try to find a way to help.
Beira is a port city, so HIV prevalence is high here. But centers like this one have plenty of success stories. Fatima Batista is among them. The 40-year-old was one of the first patients at DREAM and one of the first to be put onto ARV therapy. 14 years later, she volunteers here, offering advice and comfort.
I tell people there's no cure for AIDS yet, but with the treatment you're able to live a long life. This is why I'm here. I've been taking ARVs for a long time. I had 3 babies while on ARVs, and all of them are in good health and they're negative. And always I tell people that it's possible to live a good life while you are on medicine. There's no reason for anyone to give birth to a child infected with HIV.
More than 800,000 people in Mozambique are on ARVs. The UN says the rollout of the treatment has cut AIDS-related deaths by almost half in the past 12 years. The country still has a long way to go to bring new infections under control. In Beira, young women and girls are especially vulnerable. At the center, they receive free treatment, free medication, a free meal, and a little hope. The reassurance that testing positive doesn't mean their life is over. Valdi Carosa.
Up next now is the weather forecast.
South Africa with clear skies over the Western Cape. Johannesburg will be at a maximum of 24 for today and 26 in Pretoria. If you will be in Springs, a maximum of 24, partly cloudy skies over most parts of Gauteng. That's why our temperatures will get a chance to go to the mid 20s. Musina will be at 27, 21 for Thohoyandou. If you will be in Mokopane, maximum of 24, 28. Beggarsford, up to 60% chance of thunder showers expected over the eastern parts, but moving to the interior, isolated thunder showers for today. Bila at a maximum of 27 degrees. Mpumalanga, we're seeing Skukuza at 28, moving to the interior, temperatures being cool with sitting in the low 20s over most parts. Ermelo and Carolina. Secunda at a maximum of 24 and 25 for Amalahleni. Umkhondo at a maximum of 19 degrees with morning fog patches over the eastern interior and in KwaZulu-Natal as well. 30% chance of thunder showers expected. Pietermaritzburg at a maximum of 25 to 60 moving over the interior. Durban at 25. Port Shepstone at a maximum of 23 for today. Over the Eastern Cape, we're still expecting partly cloudy skies over most parts, but going to along the coastal regions to the northern parts, isolated showers can be expected. Over the interior, just partly cloudy, and the southern parts will just see partly cloudy skies. No rain can be expected. Over Western Cape, we are expecting clear skies over Vredendal, Glen William, and the city of Cape Town. Vredendal and Glen William, we do have a warning of high fire danger. Please take note of that. Do not cause any unnecessary fires. Clear in Beaufort West with a maximum of 28. Over the Northern Cape, Uppington, a warning of high fire danger stretching to the northern parts. Please do take note of that as well. If you do see those fires, do report to your authorities. Kimberley at a maximum of 31. Over Free State, we are expecting partly cloudy skies over most parts, but it will be clear over most parts of the day, mostly moving towards the interior. Welcome at 29 and 30 for Bothaville. Bloemfontein at a maximum of 30 degrees as well. Over Northwest, we're still expecting partly cloudy skies as well. Rustenburg, maximum of 27 degrees, 25 for Lichtenburg. Schweizer-Reineck at a maximum of 30, and Taung sitting at 32, and Tosca, Klerksdorp at a maximum of 26. That is all from the weather desk. Let's go back to Pearl.
From the weather forecast, now we move over to sport. Organizers of the Council of East Central African Football Association tournament have rubbished Zimbabwe's excuse for withdrawing. The Southern Africa team have pulled out, citing security fears in the host nation, Kenya. Zimbabwe had been invited as a guest participant to the tournament, which kicks off in Kenya next Sunday.
The last-minute withdrawal has raised eyebrows, with suggestions that concerns over security are merely a cover for the financially beleaguered Football Association's failure to fund the team's travel.
But you've got a situation whereby other countries are going for the tournament, and so pulling out for security reasons, I'm not too sure whether that's 100% correct. However, we've made the decision. The fact that we've pulled out at the same time also means that our boys and our local team, which we're trying to assemble a platform upon which we can build the Warriors, our local team doesn't then get the game time from that tournament. And tournament football is very different to playing international friendlies. Tournament football is intense. It's a game every sort of 2 to 3 days. It gives our players the exposure that they require.
Zimbabwe had named a 28-member squad for the tournament. Caretaker coach Sunday Chidzambwa was to take charge of the team. The Zimbabwe Football Association is yet to appoint a substantive coach to replace Kalisto Pasua, who was dismissed after the Africa Cup of Nations finals earlier this year. 3 different coaches have led the Warriors in their AFCON 2019 qualifiers, the regional COSAFA tournament, and 2 recent international friendlies.
Without a substantive coach, we're not building. What we're doing is we're going game by game. The sooner that ZIFA appoints a substantive coach for the national team, the sooner we're going to start making strides, or steps at least, towards getting to some sort of place of stability, and then from stability, growth.
Many believe the failure to settle on a full-time candidate is due to financial challenges. The cash-strapped and heavily indebted FA has previously struggled to pay the national coach's salary and player allowances, and has had to rely on donors to bail it out.
And from that sports report, that brings us to the end of News Around Africa here on Star TV, Channel 21. Thanks so much for joining us, and do stay tuned to this channel for more. Goodbye.